While I was at work, I witnessed an interesting exchange between two northerners who were bonding before it was their turn for me to ring them up. And the bonding occurred over driving in the South and how different it is when it comes to certain maneuvers that drivers from the South perform and what their intention is. And the reason I'm sharing it with you guys is because it reminds me of a comment that one of you guys left on this very channel years ago, telling me about how those kinds of drivers, especially the ones with the compensatory vehicles, such as the giant ass SUVs and the giant ass pickup trucks, and how they drive really close to you and they are trying to do that as an intimidation tactic to get you to move out of the way or something like that. That comment changed my life because I thought it was always my imagination, or I just thought that it was just something that my mind was simply exaggerating. But when one of you guys put it like that, it put me at ease in a weird way. I guess because I can identify it now. And when I understand when something is happening and why it's happening, it makes me more confident. Well, these two folks were discussing almost word for word what we had discussed all those years ago. And basically, it was one young guy talking to an older lady, and the older lady was saying that she had moved to the south to avoid winters like this, for instance, with the snow and the crazy people driving in it. But she couldn't understand the mentality of Southern drivers, the maneuvers they perform. And then the guy ultimately said that they do that as an intimidation tactic. And because it reminded me so much of that comment I had received, I should consider closing this window because I keep looking out of it and I'm feeling snow blindness. The guy was saying that yes, it is indeed an intimidation tactic to get you to switch lanes. And it also gave me a flashback to how I never drive at night. But there was that one night that I had to drive to Walmart to pick up some provisions. I forget exactly when this happened, but there was this stupid clown in a giant ass SUV behind me. I was on the left lane because there was a bus on the right lane. It was either making a stop or it had just finished making a stop, therefore, it was accelerating. And that SUV attempted to pass me on the left lane by getting on the right lane, trying to squeeze between myself and the bus. My speed is always pretty constant, so I didn't neither brake nor accelerate. You're trying to squeeze your ginormous vehicle that isn't very maneuverable in the first place, and you're trying to speed toward the bus that's going slower than I am, and somehow you're trying to squeeze between us. In what world is that something that makes sense? So, anyway, they get behind me, and given that I obeyed the speed limit, I was matching the bus's speed by the time I caught up to it. And I wasn't passing it by speeding, I was passing it by maintaining my steady speed of at or slightly below 35. And the SUV behind me was so close that I couldn't see its headlights anymore. And you know that if you're on a car and there's an SUV behind you, because of that height difference, you're going to see those headlights shining through your mirror. Well, it wasn't. And again, it was taking me a few seconds to pass this bus. I'm not going to go faster, there's no reason to. And that SUV was honking at me. And at that point, when I hear a honk or a beep, you know what my instinct is? To brake. Because I look at that as an announcement of an imminent danger. To survey imminent danger, I think the best thing to do is to decelerate. So, had I slammed on my brakes, this stupid clown is already upset. There's no telling what kind of attitude they have. They probably have a stupid little gun that makes them feel strong. And maybe it's one of those instances where if I get hit, I better continue because there's no telling what this crazy motherfucker is going to be up to if I pull over and try to, you hit me from behind. It's totally your fault. That should be a pretty well surveillanced area. I'm sure we could get footage of the event, but you're honking at me because you were trying to go fast to pass me and the bus, only to not even a quarter mile away make a right turn. All you had to do is stay on your little right lane, and that way, when the only right lane opens up for you to pull into that parking lot of the Walmart you were going to, you could just make the turn and it's over. But no, you were trying to squeeze between myself and that bus, speed, get me to speed, only to end up having to slow the fuck down to make it to that parking lot. You saved 0 seconds. 0 seconds. Because by the time I made it through that light, the bus as well, all you saved was probably 5 seconds. Because by the time you slow down a little bit to round the curve, to like make it to the entrance, make your turn, and then stop again to make another turn to finally officially be on the Walmart side. I mean, I think back to it and it's just so stupid, so ridiculous. And that's why drivers like that, I have always said, I'll probably be a victim of a road rager over me actually following the law, following instructions, obeying the stop signs, obeying the lights, obeying the speed limit. But I would rather get messed up doing what's right as opposed to being out here being a stupid animal with zero control of my emotions. And it just meant a lot that there are still sane people out here, especially people who come from other places, who observe that type of shit and they comment on it. And what's sad is that I've been down here pretty much my whole life for so long, and I can tell you how people used to behave decades ago versus how they behave now. And it's just absurd to me. I remember when the highway wasn't so crowded, when people would not attempt so many stupid maneuvers. I'm not saying that every driver was perfect, not at all. I'm just saying that it was once every few months that I would witness any kind of incidents at all, any kind of crazy maneuvers, near misses, people running the stop sign, the red lights. All of that was rare. But something that I witnessed the other night that absolutely disturbed me was, as I was coming back home from the gym, we saw this SUV with its front completely destroyed. I didn't see a second vehicle because we were passing it at like 45 miles per hour, but there were like 3 ambulances and like 5 police cars and 2 fire trucks. There was this SUV on the median that had some grass, of course, and then 2 of those steel barriers. And this SUV was kind of like the Titanic, diving nose first, planted onto the ground with its rear tires and the butt just upward, diagonally slanted on this fucking median. It's as if it's a plane nose diving onto the ground, except this was an SUV. I want to know how that hit happened, if this was a single vehicle collision or if another car hit it. But that's one of those things I hate about SUVs. Those things, when they get on accidents, they roll over, they tip over, they will do all those crazy things. I know cars can do that too. But I think that you're more in danger in one of those stupid vehicles than a regular basic car. But if you're a car ramming onto this because of the incompatibility between vehicles, then you're probably gonna get crushed by this stupid thing. But either way, nobody is made safer. All I see is greater peril because not everybody who has a license is qualified to drive. As insane as that might sound, some of you have horrible reactions to road conditions. I'll never forget this one woman who, as I was pulling into a parking lot because my light was green, she had a stop sign. She was running the stop sign. As I was coming in, I honked at her and I was able to stop, like maybe like 5 feet away from her. My nose was gonna plow onto her door. And this is how she reacted. She was like she let go of the steering wheel. She braked. I braked. We were like perpendicular to each other. And she was giving me all those theatrics, overreacting, like, and like recovery time from the impression she just got. And what I did was I honked at her again, and then she went and like started moving again. What are you doing? That is the worst way to fucking react to a near miss. Keep moving. If you made the mistake, make the mistake right at least. Keep moving. But no, y'all be performing those little theatrical moves and stuff. No. And after I saw that lady, I said, that is someone who is not a confident driver, is a threat on the road, yet there they are operating a vehicle. And I'm not saying that you're going to be a perfect driver and to always know what to do, make the right calls, and avoid every disaster ever. Maybe this is her first incident ever, or maybe in a long time, whatever. But I'm just saying, if you're at that point, to me, that is a sign of an insecure driver. I'm not an insecure driver, but shit like that is a threat for the rest of us. But anyways, you guys, I thought I would share that. It was nice to see that these northerners were saying pretty much word for word what I have said here and what some of you guys have said here on the comments. And it was just really nice to hear. I didn't contribute anything to the conversation. I just let them continue. And as I rung up the guy's order, the guy was in front of the lady. They kept talking, and all I was able to say was, "Hi, so your total is whatever it was. And then thanks, have a good one." But it was nice to witness them bonding over a topic that I happen to like myself, like to vent about. So, yeah, all good drivers must stand in solidarity. But sometimes I wonder, what if one of those two is actually secretly a bad driver themselves, but they're not very aware? But their level of being a bad driver is a different category. Maybe they are the ones who don't respect stop signs, or they may perform crazy maneuvers here and there, but they're not exactly that threatening kind of bad driver. I don't know. Another installment on my rantings about bad drivers, but this time expressed by others.